Welcome back, y'all. It is episode 339 of the Late Night Vision Show. I am one of your hosts. I am Hans. It's good to see y'all back here again. This week, the past several weeks, we've been doing our best of series. So we had best night vision scope. We had the best entry-level thermal scope, best under 4,000, best under 6,000. We're right in the middle of it. But we are going to take a break this week because we are going to, this is the weirdest order ever, y'all, but we're actually reviewing a scope that we've already chosen as a winner of the best of. So to help me explain this phenomenon, Jason Robertson, owner of Outdoor Legacy, what's going on, man?
Man, you are right, Hans.
Is this not weird?
I don't know that I had thought about it exactly like that till you said it, but
we have to explain why this has happened. So
so I'll go ahead and say what it is. We're going to be reviewing today the Rix Storm 6. This is a really small, compact, lightweight 640 thermal rifle scope. Great price, and we did choose it as our number one favorite pick for 2024 for thermal rifle scopes under $3,000. And we did not have a review of it, but the reason is good, and that it's not our fault. Always deflect and blame somebody else. And I'm blaming the hogs. The hogs had not been cooperating this summer for Hans and I. They had been laying low and disappeared, but they're back, and we've been able to get out there and get some more footage or enough footage of hogs and some deer and stuff to be able to do this review. So that's something we've had a lot of reviews that have kind of been on hold, waiting for the wildlife to cooperate. But the good news is it's cooled off a little bit, and everything's back to moving, deer and hogs. And so we got some video, and it is exciting, ready to do this. But guys, real quick, before we jump into this review, I just want to tell you, if you're looking for a thermal or night vision rifle scope or a handheld monocular, whatever it is, we would love to have your business at Outdoor Legacy. This is what Hans and I do full time. Is we sell thermals and night vision scopes. That's what we do. We come review these to hopefully help you figure out what might be good for you. And I know sometimes people say, I watch the reviews and I get more confused because there's so many options. But we want to take that confusion out for you, so you can feel free to call us. We can walk you through the process. We can ask you some questions, figure out exactly what scope or maybe a couple different scopes that would be best for your needs, and then we can help you with that purchase. So you can call us at 877-350-1818, or you can go to the website outdoorlegacy.com. And you can make a purchase there if you already know what you want. But again, if you have questions before you make that purchase, we're happy to help. Also, any optics, anything that we have in stock and you order before noon Texas time, ships out that same business day. All optics ship UPS or FedEx for free. And so, again, we're going to get it right out of that warehouse straight to you. So give us a call if we can help you out.
Yes, thank y'all. Okay, so as normal, y'all, with our reviews, we're a little rusty on them because we haven't done one. It seems like in several weeks, and we haven't. But as always, we run down the specs. We show video of the optic while we're doing the specs. Jason has the optic right now. I've had it, and he said I was hogging it for too long and wanted it back. So he has it this week. Wouldn't
Hans
give it back.
Hogging this thing. He would not give it back. We've got a salesman, Garrett, and he's been wanting to use this thing. And Hans was just like a little kid with a toy that he would not let anybody else play with. And I finally had to force him to give it back.
So I took it back to him. He's got it. He's going to do a walk around and show you the optic. We're going to talk about what we like about it, maybe some things that we don't like about it. We're going to talk about the main thing, though. Who is it good for? Is this optic good for you? Because this scope, and the reason why we chose it as the best entry-level thermal scope, it has shaken up the under $3,000 price range thermal scope market because it is a 640 resolution. So I'm going to jump into it right now. It's $27.99, y'all, just under $2,800. Fantastic deal for a 640 resolution optic. But it is 640 by 512 resolution, 12 micron. It does have a minus 25 millikelvin NETD thermal sensor. It's a 50 hertz refresh rate. It starts at 2 power and goes to 8 power. The field of view, a very generous field of view, as you would expect on a 2 power base magnification, is right at 63 feet at a 100-yard field of view. Like I said, it does go up to 8 power, so that is 2 to 8 power, which is a 4 times digital zoom. The detection range on it, Rix says that it is 1,800 yards. I'm going to go ahead and take their word for that. But as far as more importantly, ID range, and just taking it out, looking at coyotes, looking at hogs, smaller animals, I would say the low end conservatively, like a coyote, ID range about 400 to 500 yards. Large animals like deer and hog, I would say maybe 500 to 600 yards on a larger animal, which is, I mean, pretty good for a scope, a 640 scope with a 2 power base magnification. So
Right.
400 to 600 yards, Jason. I would say on that. If you disagree, you can chime in anytime.
No, I think it's good. We did not talk about this before
We
the
didn't.
show, is those
We
ID
didn't.
ranges. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
won't disagree with you, though. I think that's really good.
So it's got a OLED display, 1024 by 768. That is not to be confused with the sensor resolution. So that's just the display size. It does have Wi-Fi. You can Bluetooth to the Rix app, video and audio recording, multiple color palettes, multiple reticle options. So the normal features that you would expect on any of the Rix products. It also runs on a fully, this is a big deal, y'all, a fully removable, rechargeable 18650. That's a flat top battery. So 18650 flat top battery. You're going to get about 5 to 6 hours of runtime on a charge. Pretty good battery life on just a single battery, but it comes with 2 batteries in the box. So you got 2. You can have one charged up in your pocket, swap it out, and have a good long runtime. I would also, talk a little bit about the, the weather conditions. I had a guy call this week about thermal scopes, and a little bit concerned getting into winter. You can take it out. These things can get rained on. These things can get snowed on. You don't have to worry about getting splashed with water. If you drop it in a lake, it better not be deeper than 3 foot, and you better be able to get in there for about get in there sooner than 30 minutes. So these things are submersible up to 3 foot of water for 30 minutes, but anything as far as weatherproof and being able to take them out just fine. The temperature rating is -4 degrees, all the way up to 122 degrees. That comes with the Rix 5-year warranty. And also, one of the big features as well is the mount. It does come with a quick release QD mount that allows you to take it on and off the rifle without having to re-zero it. It will fit to any Picatinny rail, and it is a Rix branded mount. So, with that being said, $2,800, Jason, 640 resolution. It's already won an award. I mean, what did I screwed up? What are you about to correct?
No, you didn't. I was over there scratching things down like he's going to forget the 5-year warranty. We got to talk about he's going to forget about that. You no, and I was scratching everything off. You just kept talking about it. You did good. So this is the unit right here. Hans did mention the mount. It is a quick detach mount. It is pre-attached, from the factory. It comes in the box with this mount on there. I know there's going to be people ask, so I'll go ahead and tell you. At the recording of this, which is basically the end of October in 2024, there is no other aftermarket mounts, no American Defense mount or anything like that for it. But it does come with this quick detach mount. It is cantilevered. You can see right there. I'm going to try to hold it. It's offset just a little bit. It does push it back for a little better eye relief. As you can see me holding this with my hand around it, this is really not much bigger than most full-size handheld binoculars. It actually might be smaller than some full-size handheld binoculars. Starting at the back, you have the normal rubber eye cup. To be honest, I wasn't sure if it was removable because it is on there so good. I kind of figured out it doesn't want to come off at all. I thought it must be permanent. I really tried to get my finger under there, and I realized that it is removable. So I think if you want to take it off, you could. But the good news is, if this comes off out there in the field, you've done something bad. This
Yeah.
is not one of those that you're going to just accidentally knock off because it's on there really, really good.
Yeah.
You do have your diopter focus back here, so you can twist this around and focus the eyepiece, the screen. I'm sorry, to your eye. Moving forward on this side right here, this is where your 18650 battery goes. In this, I should not do an on-screen demonstration, but I am. There is one of the Rix branded batteries that you get. It is a flat top, as Hans mentioned. I'm going to put this back in here, and I'm going to see if I can get the battery cap back on. I did. All right, moving on forward. This is your focusable objective lens. You have a hinged plastic lens cap. Going to the other side, we have right here with a little dust cover on it is your USB-C port. That is the way that you can pull videos off. Okay, so if you want to plug this into your computer, put the video straight onto there, you can. You can also run it off of any normal USB battery pack. So if something happens and you run out of 18650s or they go dead, USB battery power there. And then this is your power button. All right, so now moving to the top, maybe I can get in the right light. You can see this. You basically have a pretty standard button layout, up, down, left, and right. They each do different things. And this front button is a menu button. I will be honest and say that I keep pressing this button thinking it's a power button because a lot of scopes it is. But it's actually the menu button. And so it's just been one of those things where I kind of kept pushing it, like, why is the scope not going off? Why is the menu coming up? But the power button's right over there, which is actually good. You're not going to accidentally, press that and turn the unit off. That is the simple walk around on this unit. Again, I just want to make a point of showing how small this thing really is. And on the weight, we weighed this thing a while ago. And what was that? 1 pound,
A little over a
4
pound.
ounces. Yeah, 1 pound, 4 ounces. I mean, with the battery, with this mount, that
Very
is
small.
really lightweight.
Very small.
That is, it's a great little unit. So that's the walk around of that. Again, that's the Storm, Rix Storm S6, 2-power, 640, $27.99. Guys, don't stop right here. You need to listen to this all the way through because we're going to tell you who it's good for because it is good for a lot of people, but it is not good for everybody. And I would say that there's been a decent amount of people that I think we've saved a little bit of heartache because they might have made a mistake buying the optic. I'm not here to talk you out of buying it, but we want to make sure you know if it is right for you. So stick around for that. Let's talk about some likes and some dislikes. I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick because the dislikes are very, very, very slim. We couldn't come up with much, which is nice. It's hard to say anything bad about a $2,800 640 that uses an 18650 battery. So, all right. One small thing, the flat top 18650 is not a big deal, but they're just not as common as button top batteries. So most people, if you already own 18650s, most people are going to have the button tops. And so that's not what this unit uses. It uses a flat top. So you're going to have a little smaller selection if you go to look for flat top batteries, but again, it does come with two and they are out there. It's not like you can't find them. It's just not quite as common if you already own them. The other thing is I kind of mentioned these buttons. There's nothing wrong with this button layout, but I do think it's a little less intuitive for me. Again, maybe that's just because using so many other scopes. And again, that power button is often out there. So I'll kind of press and I'll be like, oh, what does that do? Or what am I into? It's just a little different. It's not hard. And I think that the point that I would make is if you haven't been using thermal scopes, a whole lot of scopes, you're not going to know any difference. I mean, it's really not. I think it's just, it's something feels different when I'm getting into the menus than a lot of other optics. So it's kind of thrown me off. But again, once you use it, you figure it out. I think the weirdest thing for me is the power button being on the side. But like I said, truthfully, it is a good thing because there's some of the other optics where the power button is out here and in the dark, I accidentally press it And if you hold it for, 2 seconds, it starts shutting down. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm turning the scope off. You're not going to have that happen. So that's really, those are the most we could come up with
And
on some
yeah,
disciplines.
and I think the menu thing, it's not that it's a bad menu
No,
or
no, no, no,
not,
no,
but
no. It's actually
here's
really simple.
the thing. It's so different than every other company that it's almost, because Jason and I are so used to other scopes, that it's kind of tricking our brain. Like, it's, you got to really know what you're doing and you get in there, but it's not difficult at all.
Oh no, it's very simple. I mean, when the stuff comes up on the screen, it's
Yeah.
clear of
Oh
what it
yeah.
is and what it does. And so I think if you've never used a thermal optic,
Yeah.
you would have absolutely no problem picking this up and
Yeah.
figuring it out in a hurry.
So the likes, there's a lot, Jason, we can get through here. I mean, first and foremost, when you hear about a 640 resolution scope right now, at the date and time we are now, under $3,000, your ears perk up, but also you're a little bit suspicious. So like, okay, well, what's it going to do? What's it going to look like? I'm going to tell y'all, the picture image is fantastic. Obviously a legit 640 resolution scope, very good picture image. I really do. I mean, I like the color palettes, but I'm a black hot guy. The black hot looks really good. Jason's a white hot guy. I know he thinks the white
Like
hot
the
looks
white
good.
hot, yeah.
Yeah, the white hot looks good. So the two color palettes that we use, we really like. They look great. Picture image is great. The fact that it comes with a QD mount, fantastic. 18650, as you mentioned. I mean, really good deal. But I think, Jason, it comes down to quality of the image and the price are the two biggest likes that I would have to take away from it.
So I'm going to say this. And this is one of those things where you shouldn't say it, but we're honest. And so we do say these things. When I first heard about this optic, I did not have high expectations because it was too cheap. I mean,
Yeah.
really, the price was too low, and I said, I know what we're gonna get. It's gonna be the worst 640 image you've ever seen. I mean, and guys, I hate to be this way, but
He's being completely
sometimes
honest, by the
I'm
way.
being completely honest. Sometimes, it's probably what this industry has done to us is over the years you get these carrots dangled in front of you. You get your hopes up, you get the optic, and you're like, oh gosh, we can't sell that. We're not going to review that, or whatever. And so I was just kind of like, oh, it's going to be a letdown. And I got it. And I walked out and I turned it on and I went, oh my goodness. I remember calling Hans while I was out there in the field looking at it. And I called him and said, you're not going to believe this. I was like, it's legit. It is a really, really good 2-power, 640 image
Yeah.
quality. So it is. It is a really, really good optic. I cannot complain about that. I mean, Hans mentioned those ID ranges. I mean, I want to be clear too, guys. When Hans is talking about 400 or 500 yards, I don't think either one of us are suggesting or encouraging you shooting that far. But I do think that you can positively identify in those ranges. But let's do this. Let's talk about who this optic's good for, Hans. I kind of want to get to that, and we can talk some more generally about the scope. But I'm going to say this. Number one, I think this scope is, in my opinion, is made for the AR style shooter. I do think, there's going to be some guys that might be able to get the eye relief they need on a fixed stock rifle because of this cantilevered mount, but I'm not going to suggest that because I think that's risky. I think there's a lot of people who won't get the eye relief they need. So I would say anything with a collapsible stock, AR-15 style, AR-10 rifle, I think you're going to be good to go. This is the point that Hans, I mean, I think you're going to totally agree with me here is you just need to make sure the style of hunting that you're going to do is going to fit a 2-power optic. I would say that yes, you could shoot, 200, 300, maybe even further with this if you needed to, but that's not its sweet spot. Its sweet spot, in my opinion, and Hans, we didn't talk about this before the show, so we're kind of going here. I think we both are going to pretty much agree. If you disagree, chime in. But I'm going to say the sweet spot is under 100 yards, and the really sweet spot is going to be your under 60 yards. If you're doing most of your hunting in that, 0 to 40, 50, 60 yards, maybe you're in the brush, you're in the woods, or you're just spotting and stalking. Maybe you got a feeder at 50 yards. I think that's who it's good for. And if you still need to take a shot at 100 or 150
Right.
or 250, you
Yeah.
have that ability. But I think if you're a predator hunter, if you're a coyote hunter, if you got a feeder that's set up at 100 yards, I think you'd be better off getting a 3-power optic. And Hans, I want to, in just a second, I want to talk a little bit, go off on a little bit of a rabbit trail about, a 3-power 384 versus a 2-power 640. But there are a lot of people this is good for. We're selling a bunch of these
Yeah.
scopes. But do you agree with that assessment there, or would you kind of expand that, or what would you say?
Yeah, I'll expand on that a little bit. We talked about this is kind of shaking up the market, that under $3,000 market. And yes, it's shaking it up because it's a 640. And there's just not that many 640s under 3,000 to choose from. I think there's only one right now, other than the Rix scope. Yes, it's the 640. Yes, it's the price at $2,800 or just under $2,800. But this is causing some confusion, a little bit of heartburn for people out there that are trying to decide on an optic, because you got that, that 640 that everybody wants. You're in that, you're looking in that $2,000 to $3,000 price range, and this scope pops up, and you're like, oh man, I can get into 640 now. This is fantastic. But like you said, making sure and we tell people all the time, just as important as making sure that you have a scope that has the highest resolution and the best picture quality that you can get, equally as important is deciding on a scope that has the correct base magnification for what you want to get or for what you need to do in your type of hunting. So with Jason saying, ideally average shot 100 yards and in, fantastic 60 yards and in, that doesn't mean, like he said, it's limited to only that range, only 100 yards. You can definitely take a shot further than that, 200 or 300 yards. It's a challenge. In any thermal hunting, over 200 yards gets to be more of a challenge. But it's you do not want that to be your average shot distance over 100 yards, because at 2-power, it's just a very wide field of view. It is great for in the woods. It's great for your closer range hunting. If you want to use this in emergency situations, scanning around your house, this is a great optic, a dual purpose optic that you can use for emergency situations where you can scan with it, keep it in your car, take it on vacation, as long as you're in the United States. Don't take it out of the U.S., but inside the United States, scanning around.
Good point.
But you can put it on your rifle if you need to. So that's where this has kind of caused a little bit of confusion and just this heartburn of like, okay, I don't want to make the wrong decision. I need to decide on the right scope. That's
So I agree with everything Hans just said there, and I don't want this to be a negative about this scope, and I don't want to like bog down this review with it, but I do think it's important because part of what our reviews, or a lot of what our reviews are here for, is to help you figure out if this is right for you, possibly or not. If you can, add this to the short list, or whether you can mark it off. And there are a lot of people, this is the perfect scope. This is the scope they have been waiting for. But for a lot of people, they want it to be the scope they've been waiting for, but the 2X, the 2-power base mag is not it. And so I'm going to give you just a real quick example. It is 2-power at it is 640 resolution at 2-power. You touch the digital zoom one time and you go to 4-power. Your resolution is now a 320 resolution. All right. So you went from 640 to 320. And that image is going to look worse than a 384 at its, native optical magnification. So let's take, you got a 384 3-power. That is going to be a better image than this 4-power 320. And so what I don't want to see guys do is get out of the truck and zoom the scope up to 4-power, because that's really what they need. They can't, they're shooting too far all the time, or most of the time for the 2-power. And so what they've done is they've bought a 4-power 320 scope when they could have bought a better 384 resolution scope. And I know that again, that kind of that carrot of that 640 hanging. Yeah, but I want 640. Yeah, but it needs to match the magnification. And that's one thing Hans and I really preach on when we talk to guys on the phone. First thing we're always trying to figure out is, do they need a 3-power, a 2-power, maybe a 2.5? Maybe they need more. Maybe they need a 3.5 or a 4-power. But where are they on that scale? So just don't fall into the resolution trap of, hey, it's 640, so I'm going to buy it and I'm going to squeeze it into my scenario where I'm going to be shooting longer ranges. Hans mentioned something that I think is really big. You said, like, around the house, home security, emergency preparedness. This is the kind of scope that I think a lot of people that are in that mindset, looking for something that maybe they want to go hunting with it, maybe they don't, maybe it's just, again, security around the house, around the farm, whatever. It's small enough, lightweight enough that it's going to be really nice on a small rifle that you may have, beside the bed or something, but also that, you could hold it in your hand and pull it off with that quick detach mount. So I think it has a lot of use there as well, not just in the hunting world. And I would say this, one last thing, I'm talking about this magnification. Again, I'm not saying that if you're going to ever take a shot at 250 yards, you can't use this optic or you shouldn't buy it. Not at all. You just need to be realistic with yourself about where your average shot.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned. When we talk to people on the phone, I'm not concerned what your closest shot is. And I have less concern of what your furthest shot is. I mean, sometimes you got to be within reason of what your scope can even do, but I'm really not concerned about that as much as it's where's the average? What are you doing, 70% of the time? So that's just something to think about. But I do think that the shock to us was the image that you get out of it at that 2-power base optical magnification, how good it was, and really how it competed with other 640 optics. Now, I'm gonna sit here and tell you the truth. There's better 640 scopes. There's better 2-power 640s, but they're not $27.99. That's the point. I mean, you're not even remotely close with what some of these really, really good optics. You're gonna spend over $1,000 more. So this is a great value for the dollar.
So that was the reason, y'all. It stole the show for our best under $3,000, our best entry level thermal scope, the Rix Storm S6, and a little bit again of why we had to delay the review. And we have been testing it for quite a while. Like Jason said, I had it for probably longer than I needed it, and gave it to him. So thank y'all. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Garrett. Look forward to stealing the next scope from you. But if you are looking, now we've talked about a lot of things, y'all. We've talked about who is it good for. We talked about our likes and dislikes. We talked about, you got to see some video through it. But if you're still wondering if this is the right scope for you, if you're going to make, concerned about making the right decision, it's important that you speak with people that have used these optics, and not just used this optic, but have used this optic and a lot of the other optics on the market in this price range. So you can get a good, fair assessment of how this is going to not just perform for you, but how it's going to perform based up and put up against some other scopes. So if you need some help deciding, we invite you to call 877-350-1818, outdoorlegacy.com. We'd love to hear from you. This is the busy time of year. Deer season is starting just in a couple of weeks. This weekend, Jason, is youth season for Texas deer hunting.
That's right.
And good luck to all those kids out there that are going out there to get their, like your kids have shot several deer, and those kids out there who haven't shot any deer, good luck on their first trip out. But
that's right. And actually, when this week that this is airing is opening weekend of rifle season.
That's right.
The full opener in Texas. So
yeah.
Everybody good luck, be safe. And guys, listen, we hope you enjoyed the show. There's lots of other content right here on the Late Night Vision Show channel on YouTube. Or if you're listening on any of the podcast apps, you can see all those past episodes or listen to them there as well. You can go to the latenightvision show.com and see all those episodes, see a little bit more about the show. If you're looking for Hans, he's on all the social medias as well as YouTube with his videos at Hans ETX. That's HANSETX. Outdoor Legacy, we've already told you, guys, we want to help you find the right optic, and we want your business. And we believe that our customer service, our knowledge, our willingness to help sets us apart. And so we really have done everything we can right up to this point, you watching this video, to earn your business. And so that next step is calling us, letting us help you figure out which optic that is. And then, you know what? We won't even make you order over the internet if you don't want to. We've got 3 ladies in the office who are absolutely happy to make that process easy for you by helping you order right over the phone. You don't even have to type in all of your tedious information on your shipping and billing. We'll make it easy on you.
Yeah.
So guys, again, we really hope you enjoyed the show. We will be back next week with another episode for you. Good Lord willing, creek don't rise. We've also got 2 or 3, I think maybe 2 more.
We've got
of our best of.
We got
series.
best high end thermal scope. We got best monocular, and I think that's it. I think that's
it.
the
So
end of the
unless we
line.
come up with something else, those are going to be it. Guys, stay tuned right here. Hope to see y'all soon.